Once upon a time there was a beautiful forest called Flower Forest. Flower Forest was filled with tall trees, colorful flowers, and magical fairies. One of the fairies was named Luna, and she had sparkly pink wings and wore a dress made of flower petals. Luna loved exploring Flower Forest and stopping to smell all the pretty flowers. One sunny morning, Luna decided to fly beyond the parts of the forest she normally explored. She flew past the flower fields and over the Rainbow River until she came upon a clearing she had never seen before. Sitting in the clearing were dozens of adorable fairy houses made of sticks, leaves, and flowers. Luna gasped and said, "A fairy village. I never knew this was here." Just then, a fairy with purple wings zoomed up to Luna. "Welcome to Pixie Village," she said. "I'm Violet. Who are you?" Luna introduced herself and asked Violet about the charming village. Violet explained that this was where many of the fairies of Flower Forest lived and that each fairy house was unique. The fairies used sticks, stones, flowers, spiderwebs, and anything else they could find in nature to build their homes. Violet gave Luna a tour of the village and introduced her to some of the residents. Luna met fairies with all different color wings and outfits. Some of the fairies lived alone in tiny flower bud houses while others lived in large mushroom houses with their whole extended fairy families. Everyone was very warm and welcoming to Luna. After the tour, Violet asked Luna if she would like to build her own fairy house in Pixie Village. Luna loved the idea and immediately started gathering supplies. She collected colorful leaves, fragrant flower petals, soft moss, and twisted vines. Luna worked hard to turn her supplies into the perfect little fairy cottage. Using her magic fairy dust, Luna constructed a cozy home with flower walls, a moss bed, and vines wrapped all around. She accessorized with pretty pebbles and used leaves as shingles on the roof. When her house was finished, Luna stood back to admire her work. Her very own fairy house in Pixie Village was complete. Luna flew inside her lovely new home and settled in. Violet and the other fairies were outside preparing for the big fairy dance that evening to welcome Luna to the village. Fairies were stringing sparkling spiderwebs decorated with dewdrops between the trees to use as streamers. Tables were set with the most delicious fairy treats like juicy spiderberry pie, frosted snail cupcakes, honey nectar, and rainbow drop candy. Glowbugs were arranged in glass jars to illuminate the festivities. Luna peered out the tiny flower petal window of her house and smiled. She was so happy to have found this magical place and to be a part of the Pixie Village community. Later that evening, when the moon was high in the night sky, all the fairies gathered in the forest clearing. The glowbugs cast a dreamy glow over the celebration as the fairies fluttered about. When Violet announced that the dance was starting, the fairies partnered up and began dancing and twirling through the air. Luna and Violet danced together, laughing as they spiraled and spun. All of the fairies took turns dancing with Luna to officially welcome her. As the fairies danced, they used their magic wands to cast glittering spells into the clearing. Soon it was filled with shimmering fairy dust and flickering magic lights. It was the most beautiful fairy dance Luna had ever seen. After dancing all night, the fairies finally collapsed onto soft toadstools. They nibbled treats until the sun came up and the glowbugs went to sleep. Luna happily gazed around at all of her new friends. Pixie Village truly was a magical place. For the next few weeks, Luna delighted in her new life as part of the Pixie Village community. Each morning she would wake up in her cozy cottage and fly outside to sip drops of morning dew with her neighbors. Then the fairies would take turns making breakfast treats to share, with some gathering berries or baking spiderberry muffins. After breakfast, Luna would join some of her new friends like Violet on adventures in the forest. They discovered bubbling creeks, rainbow rock pools, and fields of delicious wildflowers. They would have picnics under toadstools and play fairy games like hide and seek using their magic to turn invisible. At night, the fairies continued having dances under the moonlight. Luna was having so much fun with her new friends that she couldn't imagine living anywhere but Pixie Village. One sunny afternoon, Luna and Violet decided to explore deeper into the forest than they had ever gone before. They flew faster and faster until the trees grew so thick they had to weave in between the trunks. Strange new plants covered the forest floor and they heard unfamiliar animal sounds. Suddenly Violet stopped and her wings froze. Up ahead were two enormous sleeping trolls. Luna and Violet held their breath as they slowly fluttered past the trolls without waking them. When they were a safe distance away, the fairies couldn't hold in their laughter. "Trolls in our forest," said Violet. "How funny." Luna agreed. Just then, she spotted something sparkling on a tree branch. Luna flew closer and discovered it was a magical fairy treasure, a bracelet made of glowing gems and crystals. Luna slipped the bracelet on her wrist. "It's so beautiful," she exclaimed. Violet nodded. "That bracelet must be a fairy artifact from long ago. You were meant to find it." Luna grinned as they turned back towards Pixie Village. What an adventure! When Luna and Violet returned to Pixie Village wearing vines in their hair and with the magical bracelet, all the fairies gathered around. Luna showed them the bracelet which glowed and sparkled in the light. The fairies oohed and awed over the rare find. As the fairies passed around the bracelet, admiring it, Luna realized this was just one of the many extraordinary moments she was having in Pixie Village. Her experience finding the magical bracelet made Luna reflect on how much she treasured the friendships and magic of this place, and all they had discovered together. That night during the fairy dance, Luna gazed around at the glowing lights and all of her new fairy friends laughing and dancing. She realized this hadn't just become her home. These fairies had become her family. As she danced with Violet that night, Luna said, "Thank you for welcoming me here. Pixie Village is where I truly belong." Violet beamed and squeezed her friend's hand. "We're so happy you found us too. This is your home now, and we're your family." Luna's heart felt ready to burst. She knew she would never need to search for a place to belong again.